Title: Today I fudged up by becoming the office stock photo guy. Hello, delightful denizens of the internet. Buckle up, because I, your humble narrator, have managed to weave a web of chaos so peculiar that even a sitcom writer might raise an eyebrow. Let me introduce you to my humble abode, or as my lease agreement prefers, Apartment 4B. I might have once been a proud, solitary dweller in this tiny square on the grid of urban civilization. But alas, like socks in a dryer, things often disappear, never to be seen again. Except, in my case, it was not socks, it was my dignity. At the strike of 8 a.m., the ritual sound of my alarm clock chimed. I arose from my bed with the grace of a potato rolling off a counter. Today was a special day, an important day, the day I, a humble data analyst, would be photographed for our company's new marketing materials. Yes, you heard it right, the powers that be decided that I, Gordon, with my impeccable record of accidentally double booking meeting rooms and crashing virtual calls, with my not-so-quiet sneezes, would be the face of our quarterly newsletter. I prepared with the precision of a dad trying to fix a leaky sink. My closet offered a range of choices, all varying shades of beige. I eventually settled on a crisp white shirt and a tie of what I hoped was an executive level of competence. I looked in the mirror. Executive, indeed. If your executive was the uncle who always sits in the corner at family gatherings, spewing dubious advice about investments in Beanie Babies. But it was not until the unfortunate incident with the smoothie that the gears of this disaster were finally set in motion. As a last-minute act of self-care, I whipped up a healthy breakfast smoothie. I managed to spill the contents of said smoothie onto my freshly pressed pants right before leaving. It was too late to change, and arriving on time is 9/10 of our performance reviews. Thus began my brisk trot to work, pants still carrying the smoothie's abstract art and my pride thoroughly shaken but not stirred. With the manner of a seasoned procrastinator facing a deadline, I zipped down the bustling streets toward the corporate labyrinth that was my workplace. Upon arrival, my expectation of sneaking in unnoticed was instantly crushed as Rick from finance loudly greeted me with, "Got a new look, Gordon?" accompanied by finger guns that have not been in style since anyone who bought Beanie Babies as investments realized their financial oversight. Ignoring Rick's contribution to my morning melodrama, I made my way to the conference room now turned photography studio. Upon entry, the photographer, a gentleman with hair styled by an unexpected thunderstorm, greeted me with a look that screamed, "Well, at least it is not my face on the poster." I took my place before the camera, trying to ignore the splattering of smoothie on my nether region. The shoot commenced. Now, I have always prided myself on my ability to overreact or underreact at entirely inappropriate intervals. But I was trying my best, unfortunately. During an attempt at a nonchalant pose that involved my hand in my pocket, I finally reached the breaking point of my precarious wardrobe situation. With an audible rip that will haunt my dreams for years to come, the inseam of my pants gave up well before any end-of-shoot cocktails could be consumed. If my life had a soundtrack, it would be the sad trombone mixed with the wah 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 chorus from the world's smallest violin. This was not just a rip, it was a chasm, a void that left nothing to the imagination for anyone positioned in the vicinity. Mortified, I tried my best to assume a strategic crouch, not unlike a dad trying to pick up a rogue Lego brick. Without fully bending, sensing the unavoidable chaos, the photographer suggested we take a break, possibly to allow him to laugh in private. I scuttled out, resembling a penguin practicing for the Olympic speedwalking event, into the nearest restroom. The flickering lights offered an ambiance that screamed amateur horror film as I assessed the damage in the mirror. There was no hope. I was simply now a man with a very unfortunate hole and no backup pants. Time was ticking, and so was my chance to salvage any semblance of professional dignity. I considered my options with the rapidity of a squirrel faced with a new bird feeder. The kind that spins foes away with centrifugal force. Only more sympathy-inducing. In my desperation, I turned to recycling, utilizing the restroom sink, thanks always to hand dryers, the unsung heroes of office disasters. Using a roll of clear packing tape from my desk. Do not ask why. I taped the broken pants back together with optimism most often seen in cats trying to catch the red dot. Once satisfied that the pants looked passable in poor lighting, I returned, trying to keep my stride slow so as not to strain the tape too much. Confidence refurbished. Faked. Really. I resumed the photo shoot. Things went well for the next few minutes, allowing my mental faculties to dream of the blissful end-of-day getaway. Until the office mascot, Gary the guinea pig, somehow got loose. Gary, known for his speed and ability to chew anything resembling food, made a beeline toward my feet. Before I could react, Gary discovered my shoes, imbuing his gnawing on my laces with the sort of dedication usually reserved for toddlers eating crayons. As I bent down to shoo away our toothy friend, the universe, having sensed my feigned complacency, decided to play its ace card. The tape holding my dignity and modesty together made a sound akin to ice-breaking. Gary made a swift retreat, perhaps in embarrassment for me, as the seam surrendered once again. So there I was, a man worthy of the cover for The Most Unfortunate Employee Photo Day, frozen mid-crouch, caught between fate and furry revenge. While the photographer snapped another round of pictures, I learned too late that they called him Jeff Catch-all Carter for his ability to capture candid incidents that exemplify human unpredictability and pant-based tragedies alike. As quickly as I could, I made a hasty, subtly executed retreat, managing to retrieve my coat from my office chair to tie around my waist with all the elegance I could muster given my predicament. While distracted by my grand escape plan, I misjudged the chair's proximity, pulling over my collection of carefully stacked reports, tumbling them down like a localized paper avalanche. Witness to this spectacle was the stoic photographer, who tossed me an expression of sympathy mixed with confusion, not unlike the expression one might have finding a cat rowing a boat. He gently advised, "We got plenty of great shots, Gordon," before departing, taking any remaining shreds of my frail dignity with him. My day concluded as all legendary tales do, with me hiding in a supply closet, surrounded by an army of sticky notes as I dialed my best friend for a pants delivery. Emerging cautiously into the late afternoon, I found that the office had collectively decided to respect my near invisibility, a condition implementing only the most unassuming glances and sheepishly waved acknowledgments. Among a sea of colleagues teetering on the edge of one contagious outburst of laughter. By the end of the week, to my confusing amusement, the newsletter had been released, showcasing me on the cover. Business on top, questionable choices below, strategically cropped to avoid legal action against viewers' eyesight. The edition was promptly dubbed Pants and Circumstance. So, dear readers of the internet, in the grand tapestry of life, when fate hands you smoothies, yoga pose-worthy embarrassments, and photo shoots you never wanted, wear your new reputation proudly, or hide in the stationery cupboard, as needed. In the adage of the immortal Elton John, I am still standing, though, perhaps, with reinforced seams and a more generous tailoring budget. Lesson learned. Never underestimate the resilience required to endure workplace photo shoots, unraveling threads, and the ferocious nibbling of one's shoes by company mascots. And remember, as embarrassing as the day may be, Your story might be the one that brings laughter to others. Until next time, may your clothes remain intact, your smoothies stay in their containers, and your pride stay whole more often than not.